Welcome back, everyone. People that have been listening to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming podcast, welcome back. And to new viewers, if this is your first video, if you're listening to Anonymous Addiction, thank you for joining us, and please subscribe and press the notification button, the like button if you like, but subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of good different things on this podcast. So welcome back, everyone. We're going to go into the 9th step, Alcoholics Anonymous, deprogramming of the 9th step, step 9. You know, last podcast we talked about step 8, which we were making a list of all people we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 8. That was the last podcast or one before. This podcast is about made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Not us, them or others. I would avoid these 2 steps. If you're new, avoid them. Do I believe in self-appraisal? Yes, I do. Totally. I believe in self-appraisal. It says, see, in the big book, it doesn't even go into 8 because it just skips it and says you made a list in the 4th and 5th step and the 4th step. So use that list, which I don't know how you're going to use that list to do this, but so, and then it goes right into, in the big book, it goes right into the 9th step, which is page 76. And 76, into action. It's in the big book and it's called chapter 6, into action. And into action has the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then after into action, it goes working with others, which is the 12th, which is the whole process of getting you from 1 to 12, which is working with others, getting yourself a sponsoree and bringing people, programming people into the indoctrination of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's the key to it. Really, drinking is not the main deal. It's to get you to God. It's to get you to AA and keep you in there. The way they say it, you have it for life. And me personally, I don't believe in none of the disease concept or the disease of alcoholism. So there's an exit strategy always. So when we get into the 9th step, it goes right to the 9th. And it says, let's look at step 8 and 9. We subjected ourselves to a dramatic self-appraisal. Now, like I said, I believe in self-appraisal. That's an ancient philosophy. And I believe, but the way this is designed, this is dangerous. This is trauma denial. This is allowing sexual, physical, mental abusers get off the hook. That's what this is, because it never allows you to look at the other person's behavior, only yours or ours ourselves, because we are responsible for everything, which we are, cause and effect, the consequences of cause and effect. But that doesn't mean that we're going to go apologize to our offenders and we're going to make amends to them and we're going to forgive them. Actually, forgiveness just means, it doesn't mean letting them off the hook. It's more for us. Doesn't mean that we're going to allow their bullshit and we're not going to call them out on it. So I believe in self-appraisal. Go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. First of all, it said, oh, here we go. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our efforts to live on self-will and run the show ourselves. Now, look, we have self-will, and I'm doing it right now. I'm living on self-will and I'm running the show myself. This is Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast, and this is Bobby C's show. So it's okay to run the show yourself. All right. And if it hasn't the will to do this, if we don't have the will to do this, we ask until it comes. You know who we have to ask, right? Because in the beginning, we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. First of all, we're not drinking. We came out of detox. We came out of rehab. We're not drinking or drugging. Okay, so that's not the issue right now. They're not giving us any tools, strategies, new skills, coping skills to deal with our life situations. They want us to go directly to God for the solution. And it goes back over and over and over again that you must go back to God. We asked until it comes. Okay. Then they talk about spirituality basis, spirituality features. They talk about spirituality a lot in here, but spirituality is just a word. It's like, what is it defined to you? What does it mean to you? You know, it's going to grow. It's going to evolve. You're going to become into different types of awareness and consciousness to understand maybe this word, which as soon as you say it, people are going to judge you to what they perceive the word means. So spirituality, they talk about it. And then they talk about here, our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be the maximum service to God. Now, I'm not saying this. This is in this big book. Excuse me 1 minute. I had to get a tissue there. Sorry. So our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be a maximum service to God and the people about us. That's what this whole program's about, to be a maximum service to God, not service to ourselves. The whole program is designed for us to be trusted servants. I've done podcasts about that. If you look up trusted servants, or you look up servant in the Catholic Church or any Christian religions and stuff like that. This is religion. Okay. Let's go down a little bit here. Branded us fanatic. We don't use this as an excuse for shying away from the subject of God. When it will serve any good purpose, we are willing to announce our conviction with tact and common sense. Now, here we go. Like I said, avoid these 8th and 9th. These steps are designed to break down yourself, break down your identity, make you a servant of God and a servant to humanity. Not that right now, hopefully I'm maybe doing some service. Okay. We do service in so many different ways. It's up to us what we decide if we want to serve. You know, Alcoholics Anonymous dictates to us and how they want us to serve. You know. Let's see here. Danger. The question of how to approach the man who we hated will rise. It may be he has done us more harm than we have done him. Read that again. It may be he has done us more harm than we have done him. And though we may have acquired a better attitude towards him, we are still not too keen about admitting our faults. They don't care what people have done to us. They don't care. Forget that. Erase it out of your consciousness. Erase it out of your mind. We're not going to deal with that, okay, in Alcoholics Anonymous. Only look at what you have done, okay, which is letting the perpetrator, sexual, physical, mental abusers, off the hook. When you do shadow work, you'll figure it out. And that could take a long, long time. They want people to get right into this. And I suggest don't. Matter of fact, I suggest, first of all, life in itself, all this information and all this knowledge and all this wisdom that you're going to search, seek, and you shall find, go out. is not codified. It's not numbered. It's not 1 through 12. It's life doesn't work that way, 1 through 12. Okay, that's the programming. They do it 1 through 12 for a reason, to get you from here, powerlessness, your life is unmanageable, to giving you an identity of alcohol. You're an alcoholic, you're an addict. Taking this identity on, I am an alcoholic now. Forget that, okay? And first of all, you could take the word alcohol out of any of this stuff, or addict, or alcoholic, or alcoholism. This applies to all human nature, all human behavior. You know, they want us to be like we're unique because we had a habit and now we don't. We actually don't. If you're an Alcoholics Anonymous right now, what are you doing? It's like quitting smoking. Okay, I quit smoking before, but am I talking about it now? I quit. I don't smoke anymore. I drank. I don't drink anymore. I used some drugs. I don't use drugs anymore. Was it bad? Yeah, it was. Is it bad today? No, because I don't do it. Now, do I suggest self-appraisal, self-inventory, working on ourselves, doing shadow work, slowly but surely, getting into other different things? I don't care if it's fitness, health, body, mind, spirit. If you believe in the spirit, some people don't. I do. Getting into different types of modalities, different types of subjects that expand your consciousness, and you work on yourself. Look, me personally, I'm abstinent. They use that word. I don't even like it. Throw it out. I even throw that label out, abstinence. I don't drink or, use drugs. Maybe someday I will. I use prescription medicine if needed, but I don't smoke either today. But tomorrow I might pick up a cigar. I don't know, and once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Once an addict, always an addict. Throw that out. That's a lie. Okay, once an addict. Okay, you don't want to pick up anymore? That don't mean you're an addict. There's people that don't drink and drug. What do they call themselves? Addicts and alcoholics? Service to God, gone religious, subject of God. It is harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find it much more beneficial to us. Enemy, who that may be. We go to him. They always say him. I don't know who. I know who wrote these books, but there was women back here. I don't hear her in here. We go to him in a helpful and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feelings and expressing our regrets. Like I said, stay away. Danger could be dangerous to your physical, mental, and health, and you'll see as we get in here. And if you guys want to shut me up, because I may go a little longer today, sometimes I don't stop. I really get into it. Just shut it down now if you don't need to hear it. But don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and check out our new videos that come in. After this one, we're going to be doing the promises. I'm going to be breaking down the promises. I call it the promised land, the false promises of Alcoholics Anonymous. Stay tuned for that one. Yeah, under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. Like, look, we stick to our own. His fault's his. It's always his. Like, there's no women, no her. His faults are not discussed. Don't ever talk about his stuff that he did to you, or her stuff that she did to you. Don't talk about the mental abuse. What did you do to cause that? Don't talk about the physical beatings. Don't talk about the mental abuse or the physical abuse or the sexual abuse. Don't talk about that. It's your fault. Let's see what we got here. 2, very dangerous going to someone who we hate. They talk about don't get in an argument in here. Yeah. When you're new, you think you're going to go make amends to somebody and they're going to sit there and just say how great you are. And it says in rare cases. Let that person off the hook. He doesn't miss anything that any human did bad things. His faults are not discussed. I talked about that. We stick to our own. Yeah. Criminal offenses, alimony, warrants. They talk about all that stuff in here. They talk about the money. You know, if you rob something or, you know, possibly go to jail, that's okay. You'll figure it out. And eventually you'll do the right thing. Okay, because talk to your sponsor about it. You know, the guy that you just met, the stranger that you just met, that might have who knows his background or her background, and you're going to go to them and discuss all this stuff, and they're going to give you some their advice on it. Okay, talk about crimes. Perhaps we have committed a criminal offense. They talk about alimony. We're talking about warrants for your arrest. All this stuff is like, oh, if you were an alcoholic and your life was totally unmanageable, you have you robbed, you owe creditors, you did some crime, you had alimony because you divorced, your wife has warrants for your arrest, your ex-wife is after you, and they got judgments against you. But don't forget, if we have obtained permission, have consulted with others, and asked God to help, and the drastic step is indicated, we must not shrink. Okay, ask God. There's another must. There's a bunch of musts. People say there's no must in Alcoholics Anonymous. We must not shrink at this. Okay, we must proceed. There's all kinds of musts. We ask God that we be given strength and direction. Does that sound familiar? I don't know. Some people are atheists, agnostic. Some people never went to church. Some people never even joined a religion. But I have. And I know what a religion smells like, tastes like, feels like, and see. I could see it. Okay. When we get to the 11th step, it all clicks together because there's so many prayers. It's crazy. It's a religion. It's a religion that is cool. Back then, I could smoke at meetings, man. We drink coffee. I could smoke at meetings. We got cake. There's crazy people there. There's stories over after stories. There's people that were, did craziest stuff. And man, they tell you, they admit it. And to sit around and listen to all that, man, it's the coolest church you want to be in, First of all, you're surrounded with all people like they say we're all like, right? We're all drug addicts and alcoholics, and stick us in this room and we're all the same and we're sitting there. But that's not true because there's so many specific different types of meetings. You got doctors' meetings, you got lawyers, you got pilots, you got rich people to go to rich meetings, you got poor people to go. You got these clubs that come in with halfway houses. Some people don't give two shits about what they're offering. They want some coffee and donuts, which is okay. You got so many different meetings, but they're all, some of them are blended. Some of them are more specific, because back then you had gay meetings and different types of, all different types of specific meetings. There's another must ask God. Creator, outcome in God's hands, drinking again, guilt. There we go. His action met widespread approval, and today he is one of the most trusted citizens in his town. They give you these stories. There's always a story. There's always one story after another, one testimony that says it all. Doesn't tell you the other testimonies where this thing backfired and screwed you. Trusted citizens. This is about the family after 6. This I buy. Like I said before, I can pick a bunch of stuff out of here that I agree on. There's no question. I can pick up. There's stuff that I disagree. I wouldn't even read the step because to me it doesn't make no sense. Like 6 and 7, it's just God. It's just God getting you to God. First step I don't buy. The second, there's some to it. The fourth step is, taking inventory. I believe in self-appraisal. So the fourth and fifth, I don't believe the way it's written in here, but I believe in taking a personal inventory, a self-appraisal, shadow work. I believe in that, But these steps, the way they're worded and the design of them to get you along the path to get to one place, and that one place is keeping you, giving your will and your life over to the care of God. And when they say God, they mean Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay. Giving your will and your life over to their care. If you look up care, if you really know what care really means, care, C-A-R, it's like the eighth principle in natural law. It's like I do a podcast just on what care really means. And you're going to allow them to take care of you because they want your attention to be focused on this and the meetings and the readings, the repetition over and over, the prayers, the books, the studies, the traditions, the concepts over and over and over. They want your attention. Wherever your attention goes, the energy flows. They want to take your attention. Well, you give it freely because they're just subliminally, osmosisly, and programming you, but you ultimately give it away because it's really your choice. You're choosing it. That's what this whole program is about. It's about the power and the freedom of choice and understanding how the mind, the brain, the mind, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions all work, and how TV, media, government, religions, all the mass programming work. It's all the same. These podcasts, once this is done, I'll get into the other deprogramming mechanisms of the society, because this podcast is deprogramming Alcoholics Anonymous, society, and the world, and the universe. Okay, it's deprogramming it all. It's deprogramming what we have been programmed since birth. Okay, so we're unlearning. I just put out a post, unlearn to learn, to learn truth. There is truth. People say, oh, it's just your truth. No, there is truth. There is in the universe. Now, 6 is very important because I'm going to be doing podcasts on this because this is real. Okay, this I like, I'll take paragraphs out of this book and then say I like it. Okay, but he is yet a long way from making good to the wife or husband or parents or grandparents whom for years he has shockingly treated. And that's, what? I'll admit that I've done some crappy, shitty behavior. And I'm not going to blame it on my disease because that's bullshit. Okay. It was me. I took the drink. Okay. I had a choice because it's the same time I could have said it. When I said yes to help, got help, a friend came over and he helped me. And I decided, it came from me. I decided to get help and do some action to change. That was my will. That was my life. That was my care. That was what I cared about. I finally took, and I could have did that at any time, any moment, which was now. I did it at that moment. I could have did it any time. It came from me. People say you got a disease. It's incurable. They want you to believe that. Now, is there devastating consequences in society because of the alcohol and pharmaceutical industry? Oh, no. People want to give them a pass all the time, never even talk about it. I'm going to be doing podcasts about alcohol and that pharmaceutical and the tobacco industry and all the other industries too that cause devastating consequences in the world. Okay. Are we victims? In a sense, I hate to say it, I'm not victimized because I know, I'm aware. I'm not a victim. I'm aware. But through mass billions of dollars of propaganda and media outlet pumping this society with alcohol constantly everywhere, no matter where you go or what you do or when you turn the TV on or wherever it is, go into every supermarket, every sports event, everywhere you go, every program you watch. I'm watching the end of Queen of the South, and listen to the promotion of Alcoholics Anonymous on that, because she goes to AA meetings. She calls herself an addict, alcoholic, and so Alcoholics Anonymous, the media promotes Alcoholics Anonymous subliminally through the messaging of Hollywood. Okay, why? It's easy to control us, keep us in a little triangular box, so we don't have to go outside the pyramid and understand really what's going on. But we're deprogramming, we're demystifying, we're de-occulting all this knowledge. It was a well-designed plan, and Bob and Bill were just puppets. I gotta take this phone and move it out. Jesse, I'm on a podcast. I'm gonna be done in about 5 minutes. I'll call you right back. Bye-bye. That was my granddaughter, who I love, and I'm helping help her deprogram from some things too. So, and I wanted to take that, that's like somebody would dismiss that, but I had to take it because I want her to know, because we're going to be having lunch together, and I'm going to bring her a book, one of Eckhart Tolle's books, over to her. So yes, Jess, your phone call, if you're listening to this, when you do on this podcast, that was your call. So, and that's what they talk about, the family, twisted. Passing all understanding is the patient mother, and what passing all understanding. Who in the hell we're trying to, I know, because I have daughters and I have grandchildren and I have a mother and father in my family. When I was habitually using, okay, I affected them totally. Was I responsible for that? Yes, I was. Okay. So today I understand, because I've been through a bunch of stuff too. So I understand the family afterwards, the grandparents. Bless the grandparents who were always there, and I can relate to that, who always were there for their grandchildren when the daughter or the son-in-law or blah, 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 whatever, passing all understanding, because we can't understand. How are we going to, everybody wants their son, daughter, or spouse, or husband, or whatever, to be fixed. We can't fix them. Everybody wants somebody else to fix them. And we're thankful that there are people that are pointing the way to help people, but ultimately, you fix yourself. That's Jesse again. Hold on now, listen to this. Jess? Okay, no problem. I'm going to drop you off that book, okay? All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, I'll drop it off one day you'd like me to. Bye-bye. See? Now, like, Bobby, why are you answering the phone during the podcast? You know why? Because that's very important, okay? If I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be doing, what the hell am I doing? If I'm not dealing with the now, which is the present moment, which that is occurring at, I would be a hypocrite and bullshitting everybody that, I could talk the talk, but don't do the walk. But this is very good, because had this not been so, many of us would have no homes today, would perhaps be dead. Look, we got to admit that these people helped us in so many different ways. but they couldn't change us because it had to come from us. But I'll tell you what, it's going to talk about making amends. I believe in living amends. Okay, living amends. They don't want to hear me come in. You go to a couple meetings and come home and sit down with them and do amends. Oh, hon, yeah, I'm doing so good now. Listen, let me tell you about Alcoholics Anonymous. Let me tell you how great everything is going. Let me tell you about the program and what the hell do they want to hear? They've been trying to help us for years and years and years and telling us the same shit that we're learning in there. But we didn't want to listen. Now we're going to go to them and preach to them how we want their forgiveness to make us feel so great. Now, takes time. Takes action. They want to see the change in you. But not drinking and not drugging alone that's unbelievable. Okay. In the beginning, it's good to stay away from the habit. If you want to listen to the other models and methods and you want to learn how to moderate, they say they could teach you how to moderate or whatever. If you can do that, that's great. We're not talking about that. I'm not doing a podcast on that. I'm telling you that if you had a bad habitual habit, it's good to take a break from that. If you can. Some people can't. Some people have to use harm reduction where they wean themselves. That's what everything is. Some people go to detox and they get out of it. They detox, withdrawal for a few days and detox. They get out. Now they're not drinking or drugging, but they still want to drink and drug. You know what I mean? So there's harm reduction. There's medical assistant programs, which harm reduction is. It's all kind of. There's craft. I'm not into that right now. That's all real. And there's an exit strategy for that too, if you choose. Sinclair method, taking a drug to get off a drug. That's, I'm just being real, and that works, but people have to understand about all these other programs because there's side effects to everything. There's a cause and effect and a consequence of everything. You think you're just going to take a pill, the withdrawal, years and years and years, there's certain side effects to these pharmaceutical medicine. There's side effects. It is a drug. Alcohol is a drug. Legal or illegal, they're drugs. Okay? Now, I'm not telling anybody to get off of drugs and don't use drugs and don't use antidepressants and all the other things that may help them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be aware. People need to be other people's advocate to show them the other side of something. Show them the pros and the cons. Let them make their own decision. But what I'm seeing is everybody's advocating and people are afraid to go against the stream because then they'll be labeled they're hurting somebody. Like it's the same thing that people are going against me that are in Alcoholics Anonymous that would say, Bobby, you're killing people. Same people that are criticizing me will criticize me if I say something bad about the Sinclair method or harm reduction or smart recovery or anything, but I'm going to do it because I have a responsibility with the stuff that I learned and researched about the pros and cons of this stuff too, because this whole program is about deciding the power, having the power and the freedom of choice. And finding and seeking and searching and going beyond, raising your consciousness, your higher vibration and your energy to seek what truth is for you, not for what they want you to do. Just like Alcoholics and not what the Sinclair method or the pharmaceutical company that their Trexon pumps that out to give you. You got to take a look at who's feeding you the product too. Who's promoting it? Who's making the money off it? Not that I'm denying anybody to make money. Make as much as you want. I just want to share information to people to get more knowledge and become more aware what society is all about, So I'm really into that part there. And then they talk about, Yes, there is a long period of restoration ahead. We must, there's another must. We must take the lead. A remorseful mumbling, we are sorry, won't fill the bill. And that's true. Sorry after sorry. I used to say sorry every time I screwed up, come back. I'm sorry, hon. I'm sorry. After 3-day binge, going out, coming home, sleeping for 2 days, down the basement and coming back up and saying I was sorry. What the hell was that? That sorry ass. I was just a sorry ass. That's what I was, living amends through action, through the care, through your attention, through your energy, through action. That's why Nike says, just do it. Then they go on and say, God again, to our creator, show us the way, have patience, Tom. The creator, God, show us the way. No, it's coming from, it's going to come from your heart. Your heart is the care. It pumps the blood. The heart, it's a generator. That's the care. That's your care. Your will, behind your will and your action creates the care, creates your destiny. What you do, cause and effect of your actions, your words. Words, thoughts, are things that cast spells upon us. They're used for that purpose. Okay, all words are used in that purpose. We have to be careful of the thinking, of the thoughts, of the word. It's energy, it's vibration. This is all vibration. I'm communicating with you. I'm sending out energy. They will change in time. They're asking, we have to live it, right? Spiritual life, spiritual principles, spiritual matters, spiritual, God. And we're just coming in, maybe we don't even know what the hell spiritual is or God, or we don't even believe in God, right? We're atheists, agnostics, or whatever. We're free thinkers and we don't even believe in God, and this is pumping all this stuff out to us. At the bottom is the promises. Okay, on page 83, I'm going to be doing a podcast next on the promises. Trauma denial. We don't want to get into that trauma denial because this step could deny you and not get to the shadow work that you need to be done. Forgiving perpetrators. Do we lay the matter before our sponsor? Yeah, our sponsor asking God. Yeah, they always want to go to the sponsor, go to your spiritual guidance, or go to God. They'll give you guidance. Comes from you. Bingo, there is no pat. There we go. Where's that at? There is no pat answer. We have suddenly realized, oh boy, there is no pat answer. Oh, that's over here. I'm going to jump to the step book real quick because in the step book, it's really large. It's a bunch of pages in the big book. The step book has, let's see, the step book or 9th step is 1, 2, 3, 4.5 pages, and it talks about this is good because it says good judgment, a careful sense of timing, courage, and prudence. Yeah, listen to that. I'm telling you, you don't have to do steps to know that. Okay, be careful. And they break it down into four categories. The ones, they even break it down who you should go to. When they say cause harm, this is what they mean. The result of instincts in collision. We're doing harm all day long, if this is the definition. The result of instincts in collision, which cause physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual damage to people. Remember I said words, thinking, we do more physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual damage to ourselves. That's where we need to look at. What are we doing to ourselves? What affirmations are we saying to ourselves? How are we thinking? What are thoughts? How are they creating our destiny? We need to look inside about ourselves. This is about, shadow work is about self-love. Okay. Living amends. By living the best life you can live. I mean, look, this ain't about not using drugs or alcohol, this program. I believe in the power of choice. So it's not about, there's people that use recreational, illegal and legal prescription or whatever, and they enjoy it and they use it for pleasure, you know. And even Dr. Hart, you know, everybody puts Dr. Hart on a pedestal because he snorts up or whatever heroin once. Last time he did it once a year, and so he very recreational. He does it recreational, so big deal, you know. Like because he admitted it, so he's like everybody's putting him on a pedestal today. And watch out, I'll guarantee that there's a big hidden agenda because of the testing sites, because there is illegal crap out there, you know. Be very careful of these fentanyl, all these drugs and opioid bullshit, all these mixtures, all this Molly and all this meth and all this stuff out there. Is a lot of it's just trash. So he's talking about getting sites where you can find the purity of the drug. So if you want to go out and do some pleasure, which is good, nothing wrong with that. But you watch, he'll be in on it when it does happen. Talks about money. Most of us, here's something. Whenever you see the word Alcoholics Anonymous, God, or anything, erase it out. You can take it out of there. It doesn't even matter. Most of us begin making certain kinds of direct amends from the day we begin. Hey, you come home and you go out, and this weekend you didn't go on, like me, this weekend I didn't go on a binger. I said to my wife, you know what, I think I'm going to try my best and learn some different techniques, different coping skills, and I'm going to go to therapy one-on-one. I'm going to try something different. Man, they hear that. The process has begun. That's all it takes. 40 years. Here's something here. Listen to this here. After coming out of first meeting, or perhaps after we have finished reading this book, Alcoholics Anonymous, we usually want to sit down with some members of the family and readily admit the damage we have done by our drinking. Don't do that, okay? You think they're going to sit there and say, oh, good, you're so great. Oh, Alcoholics Anonymous is so great. You're telling me all the stuff that you're doing now when I've been telling you this shit for 15 years. While we may be, and it'll work the other way too. I'm not saying, look, I'm telling you the pros and the cons. Negative and positive is real. There's negative and positive energy that makes up the world, okay? I'm not talking about being negative. I'm talking about understanding and acknowledging the negative, okay, in the world, in society, in hidden agendas, in programs, different programs. While we may be quite willing to reveal the very worst, we must be sure to remember that we cannot buy our own peace of mind at the expense of others. Here's what this is in the step book. I'm reading from the step book now. They don't want to hear that crap, okay? Harm reduction, be careful. Then I go over to 4. Okay. We will want to rest on our laurels, just the beginning, in rare cases. Listen to this. Or we may be tripped over in the other direction when in rare cases, we get a cool and skeptical reception. That ain't rare cases. When you start to preach your shit to other people, the atmosphere of approval and praise is apt to be so exhilarating. Yeah. Rare cases? No, it's more cases than the other way is rare. Okay. Be careful. You don't want to go into prison. You go to jail, you're not going to be able to pay your rent. You know, so you be careful what you do here. I'm telling you, tread very careful with this. You don't want to be put in jail. You don't want to lose your job. You're changing your behaviors in the beginning. Four. How about the harm on ourselves? That's what this whole thing does not talk about us as human beings and the harm done to us. You know, giving us self-love. It's not teaching us about self-love and developing self-confidence in ourselves. That will arise in the occasion situation where to make a full restitution would seriously harm the one to whom we are making amends, quite as important as other people. We cannot, for example, unload a detailed extra account of extramarital adventures on the shoulders of the wives and the husbands. Whoo! That lets off a lot of people off the hook, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Don't tell nobody no big secrets. Okay. Hold back. Do we lay the matter before our sponsor or our spiritual advisor, earnestly asking God for help and guidance? Yeah. There's bingo. I said bingo. Here we go. What is now? Of course, here we go. This sums up the whole thing. Of course, there's no pat answer which can fit all such dilemmas. Of course, there's not. You're going to have to decide. You eventually are going to decide without the guilt and shame, without the guilt and shame possessed upon you, the fear, guilt, and shame. You will not drink if you don't do this stuff. Okay, through guilt and shame. That's a lie. They're just hooking you to buy into that. Okay, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. If you want to take a break and stop, go to detox. You're coming out of rehab. It's done. Now, what are you going to do next? That's important. Okay. So there's no pat answers. And above all, we should try to be absolutely sure that we are not delaying because we're afraid. Oh yeah, don't delay because of fear. For the readiness to take full consequences. I mean, this is some heavy shit. Full consequences, okay, of our past acts to take response. Listen to this. This is at the end in the step book, page 87. For the readiness to take full consequence of our past acts and to take responsibility for the well-being of others. I'm responsible for the well-being of others. Do you really think that we're in the beginning or capable to know all the differences in the beginning of self-appraisals, self-analysis, self-awareness, becoming conscious, raising our consciousness? In the beginning, I wasn't. Seek and you shall find. Next podcast, we're going to be talking about the promises, and it's at the end of 9. I'm going to do a little podcast just on that. And after that, we're going to do 10. Peace out, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next podcast. Don't forget to subscribe if you stayed for this whole podcast. But maybe you didn't, maybe you did. Take care. Peace out.